క్యాంపస్కి వచ్చి క్లాస్కి రాకుండా బయట ఉంటున్నారమ్మా? Okay, leave it. We will start. Okay, ma. Today, one of the important concept you already know about this context switching. Okay, the name itself is saying that context switching. Switching means shifting from one to another, like that. Okay. So this is only one small topic, amma. Okay. In the syllabus, it is not there, but you must know about what is context switching. Okay. So let's see this example diagram, then you can easy to understand. See, I have two processes. Process one, now listen everyone. This is process one, this is process two. Okay. So context switching means switching between two processes. As of now, two processes. If it is having more than two also, it will take care to switching between one process to another process. Okay. In between, what happens? If the process one, this is process one, this is process two. So first, what happens? Save state in PCB1. You already know process control block. So if process one is, as of now, it is executing. Okay. Process one is now executing. After some time, context is switching. That means the process one will saved into the secondary memory and the new process which loaded into the main memory. Okay. Whenever context switching happens, what happens? Process one is saved into the memory. Okay, which memory? Secondary memory. And the new process, that is process two, is loaded into the main memory. Main memory in the sense RAM or ROM. Main memory is nothing but RAM or ROM. I want response here. Rule number 3. Main memory in the sense RAM or ROM. Yes. Sharath. Main memory is nothing but RAM or ROM. When I was talking about main memory, it is always RAM. Okay, remember. So process one is executing. Okay, whenever switching happens, what happens? Process one is saved into the memory. Okay, the second process, that is the new process which is loaded into the main memory. Any process which is loaded into the main memory means that is in ready to running state. Okay. So again here process 2 is in saved into PCB, that is process control block. Okay. This process is saved. Now the new process, that is process P1, process 1 is loaded into the PCB. Okay, in this way the context switching happens. Okay, that means, for example, I have two processes. So first the process P1 is executing. Okay, then after some time the context switching is happened means the process P1 is saved into the memory PCB. Memory means PCB. Okay, the new process, that is the second process, is loaded into the memory. Okay, like that. Again switching between from process 2 to process 1. Again process 2 is saved into the PCB, process 1 is loaded into the main memory. Okay, This is called context switching. Okay, even this example we already discussed. This example, yes or no? What happens? This is process P1, process P2. So whenever happen an interrupt or system call, this is one system call. We already know when it happens interrupt or system call, what happens? The switching will occur. Yes or no? In the user mode, kernel mode, we already seen. Yes or no? Ma, is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. See, in this example, already we discussed. So, your process P1 is, as of now, it is executing. Save statement into PCP1 means this is saved means context switching is happened. Okay, then what happens? The process P2 is loaded into the main memory. Okay, loaded into memory, and then it will execute sometime. Again it will happen interrupt or system call, and what happens, the second process will saved into the PCB2, the process P1 is loaded into the main memory. Okay, is it clear, Amma? Only one point here, Amma. If we are having multiple processes, if any interrupt occurs, interrupt we can also call as system call. Okay, happens, then the process, it move from process 1 to process 2, similarly process 2 to process 3, or 3 to 1, like that switching. Okay, see, context switching is a technique or method used by the operating system to switch a process from one state to another state to execute its functioning using CPU in the system. Okay, what is the purpose? To switching from one process to one state, one process from one state to another state. Okay, why it is switching? For execution. Okay, for execution purpose, it switching between process to process. Okay, when switching perform in the system, it stores the old running process status in the form of registers. So registers means in the PCB we are using register sum. Okay, so whenever happens context switching, the old process means the previous one, that is saved into the PCB. In the PCB, that is especially in the registers. Okay, the next process, that is new process, will execute. Okay, while a new process is running in the system, the previous process must be wait in ready queue. Yes or no? If one process is executing, the next process is waiting state. Yes or no? Okay. Only one thing, context switching means switching between the multiple processes. Okay. Why this is required? This is required means all the process will execute and getting the resources. Yes or no? We are giving them interactive for multiple users. Multiple users are trying to execute their programs, access their resources. Yes or no? Giving them chance to more number of people to execute their programs. Okay. The need of context switching, we can read it, Amma. This is the what I said, that is there in the. So the following are the three types of context switching triggers. Okay, when will happen context switching? Okay, we already know kernel or user switch. What happens here, Amma? Kernel and user, we already discussed this user mode, kernel mode. If interrupt happens, if you are running if you are executing any program, any interrupt occurs, it will go and execute in kernel mode. Once the execution is over, again it's return back to the user mode. Yes or no? You remember that diagram? Okay, that is kernel or user switch. Okay, these are three categories, Amma. When the context switching happens, so in this either kernel and user switch. Okay, and interrupt. Interrupt in the sense some error, some disturbance happens, it will execute next process. Okay, let's see. A CPU request for the data to read from a disk. Actually, it is CPU is requested to read data from the disk. There are any interrupts, means disturbance, the context switching automatic switches a part of the hardware that requires less time to handle the interrupt. Okay, if there is no data, what happens? It will automatically switches. Okay, this is already known kernel. We already discussed in the user mode and kernel mode. Is it clear? So the next one is multitasking. See, the name itself saying that multitasking. That means multiple users or process are executing. So what happens? So all the process required resources, yes or no? So you are open YouTube, multiple users are open YouTube, you search it for Geeta University, that will open that video. Similar users, maybe, I think, at least 50%, others also trying to see the Geeta University video. Yes or no, all the users are getting that video, yes or no? That is multiple users executing, okay? The thing is, we are giving resources for all the users. Okay. So by using context switching. So the context switching happens in three categories. One is interrupt. Whenever the program gets interrupt, the process, the context switching from one process to another process. Okay. If another one is in waiting state until this is finished. Okay. These are the context switching, Amma. This diagram you already know. Okay. Is it clear, Amma? See, this is overall explanation of this one from this diagram, Amma. You can read out. There is nothing there. Just if one process is executing, saving to the memory, the next one is loaded into the memory. Again, the context switch happens. Again, process P2 is saved into the memory PCB, that is registers, and the process P1 is executing like that. Okay. Is it clear? Any doubts regarding context switching? Any doubts? By seeing these diagrams, you can easy to understand them. Okay. Switching means moving. Okay. This is just you can directly write it by seeing this diagram. Okay. Okay, the next concept is operations on processes. Generally, what are the different operations available for process? We already see in the process state diagram, yes or no? So, while starting the process execution and until termination of process, what are the different possibilities of operation possible in process creation? This is one concept in the second module number, operations on processes. We already know processes. So what is meant by process? Every program we can call as process. Okay. So what about process operations? That means process creation. Okay. The process creation is happen when the program execution start. Okay. When the process termination is over, when the program execution is over. Okay. So what are the different operations? One is process operation, and then see, wait, I will show, wait a moment. Process preemption, process blocking, process termination. Okay. Let us see one by one. Process creation. A process may create several new processes. Yes or no? How to create a process, Amma? How to create a process? Which system call we can create the process? Anyone? By using which system call we can create a process? By using which system call we can create a process? Sharath? Akila? Akila is not there. Sharath? Are you there? Okay. Which system call we can use Amma to create any process? By using create. Okay. Create is a system call in Windows. We can create a process. Okay. So by using create operation, we can create any number of process. Okay. So a process may create several new processes during the course of execution. Okay. See, the creating process is called parent process, whereas the new processes are called child process. Yes or no? So how to create child process, Amma? By using which system call we can create child process? By using which system call we can create child process? Anyone? Amma, please respond. If people are listening or I don't know, at least you can give the proper response. By using which system call we can create child process?
Fork, sir.
Fork, yes. By using fork, we can create any number of child processes. Okay. So when process create a new process, two possibilities exist in terms of execution. What are the two possibilities? Suppose I created, by using fork, I created one child process. Then two possibilities happens. What are those? See, the parent continues to execute concurrently with its children. Yes or no? Parallelly, parent and child both are executing concurrently. That is one scenario. The next scenario is the parent waits until some or all of its children have to terminate it. That means parent will wait until the child process execution is over. Okay. Once the child process are executed, then the parent will execute at the end. Two possibilities, either execute parallelly or until it will wait, the children process will executed. Okay, two possibilities. Already we did program Amma. Okay, that's why I'm not giving any program. Okay, this is the process creation. By using how to create a process means by using create system call we can create process that is called parent process. We can also create any number of child process. By using fork, you can create any number of child process. While creating child process, two possibilities will exist. One is both parent and child will execute simultaneously. That is one possibility. And the second possibility is the the parent process will wait until its children's executed. Okay. After that it will perform. There are also two possibilities in terms of the address space. See, executing means it required memory always. Okay. That's why it is here also. There are two possibilities in terms of the address space of the new process. The child process is duplicate of the parent process. Yes or no? When it created, I already explained in the when we discussed about system calls fork. Except process ID, everything will be same. Yes or no? The content and return value and functions and variables, everything will be same. Okay. So the child process is duplicate of the parent process. Yes or no? So the child process has a program loaded into it. Okay. ఎవరైతే ప్రోగ్రామ్ చూశారో వాళ్ళకే తెలుస్తుంది. While creating, when I used fork, what happened? Same program is copied into multiple locations. Okay. In the Unix process identify its process identifier. In the Unix system means it will like that tree structured manner. So each process is uniquely identified and a unique integer. A new process is created by the fork system call. మా ఇదంతా మనకు తెలిసిన మ్యాటరే, ఏం కొత్తదేం లేదు. ఓకే, లెట్స్ సి process creation. See one process, this is parent. Okay, from here to here this is parent. So this is child process. So how to create child process? By using fork system call. So the parent is wait until the child process will execute. Okay, once the child process is executed, then parent will resume, means execute. Okay, got it, Amma? By seeing this diagram, what we can understand, we have two: parent process, child process. So parent process is waiting until the child process will execute, then only it will start execute. Okay, even see parent. Okay, this is parent, this is child, let us say. Okay, this whole thing is parent related process. The below diagram, below box, it represents child process. What happens? This is parent process. So parent process is waiting until, see these arrows among the flow of a process. Okay, see parent to child, this is parent, this is child process. So this is how to create a child process using fork system call. Okay, so this is executing and finally it's finished its execution, means it will exit. These are all system calls. Fork is system call, wait is system call, execute is one system call, exit also system call. Okay, so once exit is finished its execution of child process, it will again return back to parent. Now the parent will execute. Okay, is it clear, Amma? Even this is creation of child process. You already know, by using fork we can create any number of childs. See, A, your forks B and C. This is parent, this is fork, this is also fork. Again, B is fork. These are all children. Okay, C is a fork. So this is like that. Even in the program, see what I said. When you create any child process, except PID, process ID, remaining all are everything same. Okay, let us see what is the program is saying. That see, void main, your fork main child process. The child process is assigned to one ID in the PID. If the PID equals to 0 means it will execute child process. If PID is other than 0, it will execute parent process. So these are the implementation. You already know how to implement these child process and parent process here also. Okay, Ma, is it clear? Is it clear, Amma? Operations on processes. The first one is process creation. Okay, the next one is process preemption. One more, Amma, have you ever heard about this word, preemption and non-preemption? What do you mean by preemption? See, when we discussed about multi-programming and multitasking, I explained preemption, non-preemption. Preemption means just like an interrupt. Okay, నేను ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్పాను కమ్మా, 10 స్టూడెంట్స్ దగ్గర 10 ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఉన్నాయి. సో ఐ మీద CPU, నేను ఫస్ట్ స్టూడెంట్ కాడికి వెళ్ళి ఆ ఫస్ట్ స్టూడెంట్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ మస్ట్ అండ్ షుడ్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయాలి. ఆ స్టూడెంట్ ఏమన్నాడంటే ఫస్ట్ స్టూడెంట్ సార్ ఐ వాంట్ గో టు వాష్రూమ్ అన్నాడు. నేనేం చేశాను, చెట్లు వాష్రూమ్కి వచ్చే వరకు ఏం చేశాను, నేను సెకండ్ స్టూడెంట్కి వెళ్ళాను. లైక్ దట్ అంటే ప్రియంప్షన్, దెర్ ఈజ్ ఏ ఎక్సెంప్షన్. ఓకే, like that. Non-preemption means there is no, once I finished the first process must and should, then only I can go and execute the second process. That is non-preemption. Amma, remember these two. Preemption means if I went for one student and I executed program, but in the meantime the student is saying that sir I want to go to outside. Then the student one is not finished, even though I given preemption. Okay, then I will go on without wasting my time. I will go to second person student and I can execute that program like that. That is preemption. Well, coming to non-preemption, I must and should execute the first student program. Okay, once finished, then only I can move to second student. That is non-preemption. Okay, is it clear? Let us see. Sorry. An interrupt mechanism is used in the preemption that suspends the process executing currently, and the next process to execute is determined by the short-term scheduler. You already know what is the meaning, what do you mean by short-term scheduler? The short-term scheduler is also called as CPU scheduler, means execution part. Okay, so here what happens, preemption process, preemption means the currently executing process is suspended and executing the next process. Okay, that means preemption, executed the next process. Preemption makes sure that, what is the use of preemption? See, preemption makes sure that all processes get some CPU time for execution. Yes or no? So here by using process preemption, we are giving the chance to execute more number of users. Okay, that means the response time will increase, the system performance will increase. Yes or no? There are advantages by using process preemption. Okay, ma? See, you know, dispatcher will dispatch the process. See, one process is ready queue, you already know, amma. The ready queue, the process are loaded into the main memory. The dispatcher will, one of the process will send to running, that is CPU will execute. In the meantime, any preemption, preempt means interrupt. So while interrupt the one of the process, it will assign to next process. Okay, my any queries, process creation and process preemption and non-preemption, my any doubts? మా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే అడగండి, లేదంటే లేదని చెప్పండి. I will move forward. Any doubts? Okay, this is preemption. The next one is process blocking. Generally, when a process will block, we can also call it suspend. Okay, for example, I will give the one real-time example. I opened MS Word. I have some document. When I pressed Control P, that means I'm going to print those pages. But in my laptop, I was not connected that printer into my system. Even though I pressed Control P, the process will wait for which device? Printer is a IO device, output device. Okay, then the process will wait for output device. It will wait for some more time. Later it will suspend. Okay, suspend or block. Again it will goes to the ready state again. Okay, the process is blocked if it is waiting for some event to occur, some event to occur means it is waiting for some IO device. Okay. But do you know IO device? Yesterday, I think I said in the programming, see, process will always utilize only CPU time or IO time. CPU time means execution process. IO time means it is waiting for giving the input or output. Let us say, for example, you are executing your program dynamically. So after typing /a dot out in the C programmer, when you type, first compilation is over, no errors, executed successfully. Next /a dot out, there it is asking input values. Enter A value, enter B value. So that is input or output. That is input or output. I want response, please respond. You written one program, C program, you compiled, there is no errors. Next, you executed. How to execute? /a dot out. Okay. Then it is displaying one message like that. Enter A value, enter B value. That is input or output. Anyone? మరి నేను పెద్ద క్వశ్చన్స్ ఏమైనా అడుగుతున్నామ్మా, మీకు తెలియని తెలిసేవి అడుగుతున్నా కదా. సారీ. శరత్, enter A value, enter B value. Suppose it is asking like that, that becomes input or output. Roll number 3, are you there? నేను మీరు ఎవరెవరు రెస్పాన్స్ ఇస్తారు అనేది కూడా నేను నోటెడే. ఓకే, ఓన్లీ మీకు మార్క్స్, ఓన్లీ మీరు ఎగ్జామ్ రాస్తేనే మార్క్స్ కాదు, మీకు ఏరే మార్క్స్ కూడా ఉంటాయి. ఓకే శరత్, దట్ ఈస్ ఇన్పుట్ ఆర్ అవుట్పుట్? Okay, that is input. Yes or no? Enter A value, enter B value. That means that particular time the process is utilizing CPU time or IO time. It is utilizing IO time. Okay, and once you enter, then it will print the output. Okay, and that will display on the monitor. That is output device. Okay. So process will utilize either CPU time or IO time. This event may be IO, as the IO events are executed in the main memory and don't require the processor. Yes or no? IO means it won't require the memory. Okay. After this event, it completes the process, again goes to the ready state. This is process blocking. Till now we discussed process creation, process preemption, process blocking. Okay. This is the diagram. Must see. All the jobs are placed into the queue. In the ready queue, what happens? All the processes are loaded into the main memory for execution. So one of the process is assigned to CPU. So that is who will do dispatcher. Okay, the process, and it is executing. Preempted means it will interrupt and it will assign for second process. Okay, if one of the process is requested IO request, then it will wait for IO. If there is no IO, that process will block it, and again it will send back to the ready state. Okay. And the last one is process termination. Okay. Finally, the process will terminate. Okay. A process terminates when its execution finish. Okay. See, its final statement and ask the operating system to delete it by using the exit system call. How to terminate the process summa? By using exit system call. How to create process creation? By using create system call. If you want to create child process, we can use which system call? Fork. How to block the system call? How to block the process? By using which system call? Wait or blocked, suspended, like that. At that point, the process may return data to its parent process by using via the system call. You can read out, Amma, there is nothing new. Okay. So this is the operations on processes, Amma. So what are the different operations on processes? Process creation. So how to create a process, that is parent process and child process. Okay. And the second one is process preemption. Once again I am repeating, preemption, the word preemption, non-preemptions are very important in the operating system. Preemption means just like giving the chance to go outside. Okay. Non-preemption means no, very strictly follows. It must be execute the first. Once that is finished, then only it will go for the second one. Okay. That is non-preemption. And the third one is process blocking. Blocking we can also call suspended, Amma. Okay. And the last one is process termination. Okay. Any doubts, Amma? In the module 2, the first concept is process management. This is the last topic for the first module 2, first concept. Okay. Any queries, Amma? You can ask. So until
No, sir.
No. Okay. అమ్మా మీరు నేమ్స్ గుర్తుపెట్టుకుంటే అదేంటి ఏంటో రా అంటే తెలిస్తే చాలు, మీరు అంతా చదవవసరం లేదు. ఓకే. Sorry, Amma. So the next one is inter-process communication. The name itself is saying that communication, inter-process communication. Once again, Amma. Inter-process communication. So communication between multiple process is called inter-process communication. నీకు ఈ వర్డ్ తెలిస్తే చాలమ్మా, అసలు మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ వర్డ్. వన్ సెకండ్. Okay, inter-process communication is nothing but communication among the multiple processes, how they are interacting. Yes or no? A process can be of two types: independent process, cooperating process. Independent, the name itself saying that independent process means it can be individual. Okay, if it is individual, no problem. You will get problem when having multiple process. Okay. An independent process is not affected by the execution of other processes. Yes or no? Individually they are executing, not a problem. Sorry, Amma. While a cooperating process can be affected by other executing process. Okay, because they are exchanging their information or data. If it is independently means there is no exchange. Okay, they individually they are executing. If it is cooperating means it is having common memory. For example, shared memory. The memory which is placed at one place, multiple processes are accessing that memory means communicating. Okay. Though one can think that those processes which are running independently will execute very efficiently. Individual ga execute అయితే problem లేనప్పుడు efficient అమ్మా problem లేదు. But in the real time what happens? It will having multiple processes. The advantage is computational speed, convenience and modularity. And even we are giving the chance to more number of users can execute. Okay. So one thing that those processes which are running independently will execute very efficiently. There is no problem with the independent process, but we have some problem with the cooperating process. But some advantages are there. That's why we are using cooperating processes. Okay. In reality, there are many situations when cooperating nature can be utilized for increasing computational speed. That means system performance. Okay. The CPU will always maintain busy means you will get the performance and convenience and modularity. Let's see one by one. See, not only these inter-process communication, amma, not only shared memory, message passing. Sorry, your spelling mistake. IPC. Okay. Inter-process communication. See, indirect communication happens, direct communication happens among the processes. Okay, the communication will shared among multiple processes. Okay, IPC. So, one second. See, message queues and FIFOs and direct communication, indirect communication, shared memory and message passing. Okay. Inter-process communication is a mechanism which allows the process to communicate with each other and synchronize their action. You know, synchronize means both are the execution process synchronize general. That is the synchronization. Okay. The communication between the processes can be seen in method of cooperation between the process generally. So let us see one by one. IPC is for communicating one process with the other process, how they will communicate. So either shared memory or message passing or direct communication, indirect communication, pipes. Let's see one by one. See, shared memory and message. See, this is process B, this is process A. Here shared memory. So these two process A and process B are accessing which memory? It's shared memory. Okay. These two are communicating. That is shared memory. Your message passing. This is process A, process B. See, process A sending message to kernel, and process B is and CMI here. Listen carefully here. Cooperating means process 1 is performing something based on that process A operation. The next process will take will perform. Okay, let's see. See, in the two processes, process A, it sent one message to the kernel. Okay, so based on the process A output, the process B is sending message to here. Process A sending message to process B through message passing amma. Okay, these are the those points amma you can read out. This is also sending messages, and one more is pipes. How to communicate the processes using pipes? Okay, actually by using single pipe, this is half duplex. What do you mean by half duplex amma? Anyone? What do you mean by half duplex? Half duplex means, for example, I have two processes, process 1, process 2. So the communication will goes from only one way.
One way direction.
One way direction. That is half duplex. Full duplex means both the two-way communication. Okay, but by using single pipe, it is possible only half duplex. Okay, only one way communication. So we can use one more pipe to communicate with the full duplex. Okay, two-way communication. Message passing already you know. Okay, Mechanism of communicate and synchronize using the message passing. The process communicate each other without resorting to shared variables. Okay, sending and receiving messages. And one more is message queue. So what is the use of queue? You already know. In the queue, it stores the data, either variables or local variable or global variables or your program, your process, everything will be stored in the queue. Okay, message queue. A message queue is a linked list of messages stored within the kernel. We already seen in the previous class how the job queue, ready queue, all using queue using linked list. We linked PCBs in the yesterday class. Multiple PCBs are linked with one each other using queue using linked list. So here message queue is a linked list of messages stored within the kernel. Okay, it is defined by message queue identifier. Every queue it is having its own identifier. Single, it will be possible. The communication is possible between single or multiple process with full duplex. Okay. Okay. Over there, my time is how much? What it? You know, my direct communication means should name each other explicitly in this method link established. Okay. Once the link is established, they can directly communicate with each other. Indirect communication means a common mailbox, each pair of processes sharing several communication links. Okay. Here direct link, but here indirect communication, it is on one mail, just like a mailbox. There, process one is, if there is a requirement to communicate to the mailbox, take it and receive the messages like that. So this is just like a mediator mailbox. Okay. Okay, ma, this already shared memory is over. Before you already know, stack, just like stack. I will send this document in the WhatsApp, Amma. You can read out. If you're having any doubts, you can ask me, Amma. Remaining members, you can leave from the session. So that is context switching and then operations on processes and then IPC, inter-process communication. In the context switching, one process is executing, second one is waiting. If the second one is running, first one is wait, that means saved into the memory. That is context switching. In the operations of process, you know, the Word document you have sent contains only 2 modules. No, ma'am, don't follow that Word document. That is not correct way. అంత ఫుల్ పేజ్ లేదమ్మా, అందుకే నేను ఇక్కడ ఇంత డేటా ఎందుకు పెడుతున్న స్లైడ్స్ అంటే మీరు ఇంకా మళ్ళీ ఏరే చదవ అవసరం లేదని. ఓకే, ఎవ్రీ వన్ యూ కెన్ రీడ్ దీస్ స్లైడ్స్, ఇట్స్ ఇనఫ్. ఓకే, in the Word document the data is not sufficient because that is belongs to last year syllabus. Okay, but your syllabus is changed. That's why myself I am creating both your preparation and slides, both are combining here amma, అందుకే data ఎంత పెడతానమ్మా. You can directly read out from these slides PPT. No need to worry about the Word document. Okay. Okay, ma, thank you all. Who are having the doubts, you can ask me. Remaining members, you can leave for the day. Have a nice day. Any queries regarding context switching? I will share the document. Wait. Okay, later I will share. WhatsApp is not connected. Okay, ma. Thank you all. No queries? Thank you all. Rule number 8. ఏమో ఎప్పుడు వచ్చినామ్మా నువ్వు ఇందాక లేవు కదా
సార్ అప్పుడు నెట్ సరిగా లేదు సార్. ఐ వాస్ అవుట్ సైడ్.
అవుట్ సైడ్ ఓకే అట్లీస్ట్ స్లైడ్స్ అని చదువుకోమ్మా
ఎస్ సార్, ఐ విల్.
ఓకే
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.